There we go.
Cord. Oh, they noticed. They've noticed. Oh, look at this. The brand new TI 99.
Texas Instruments.
Thank you. Come on in.
What did I have in school?
I had a TI 81 and a TI 82, I think.
I had an 89, I think.
You were 10 years after me, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's get the Magic NXT logo up here, since it's the only thing that matters. Okay.
God. Okay.
Oh. You right there, Humpty?
There we go.
Are you Humpty and or Dumpty?
Humpty hump.
Do the Humpty Hump.
Do the Humpty hump.
Let me pull up ye old agenda. Yeah.
It's very strange when you shake it after a while.
Yeah.
Like shake it,
Yeah.
and then it just stops.
Okay. All right.
That means it's gonna go. It just stops.
Okay. All right.
That means it's gonna go everywhere.
I feel like it's too close. It's too close. Maybe it's too clear. Maybe the image is too good. Like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's. You're gonna have to get used to that.
Welcome everyone to the latest episode of the Wrestle. No, that's
The
over.
Power Hour.
It's back. The first official episode of Team Hammerfist.
This is
Power.
This is not a good camera angle. We're gonna have to deal with it for this one though.
Power Hour. I am the Suss Man, Rick Sussman, and with me, as always, is the real American dadass, Jesse Long. This camera angle is in fact terrible. Let's take a beat. There we go. Squish back. The cat. God damn. Okay. Let's try that. Focus.
Fuck it. I'm gonna take my work jacket off.
Oh.
So I'm not covered in cat hair while I'm at work.
You're gonna put it down. Yeah, put it on the wood.
On the wood.
That's where the cat hair probably won't accumulate. Anyway, this week's episode is not sponsored by Made Coffee. Made Coffee.
From St. Pete.
From St. Pete. It is con leche.
Cold brew con leche.
What is con leche?
With milk. It's like cafe con leche.
I know. That's it. That's the joke. Wow.
That went
Wow. Well, good work, Jesse Long.
Just like a Saturday night, you've got this strange liquid all over your ottoman.
Part of your car was in my mouth. All right, Jesse. We have an abridged.
Wow, this is good.
We have an abridged episode.
Yeah.
Not the
If we
full
can get
hour,
it, I was gonna say if we can get to an hour.
but we will. What did
I
you?
got like cafe con leche over my hand.
Yeah, that's what they call it. Mm-hmm. We have
When you're Cuban by marriage, that's what you call it.
Yeah, we have a lot to discuss and not a lot of time to do it. So let's get right to it. Let's discuss something that's very near and dear to my heart: giving blood.
I was gonna say I wanted to like publicly commend you for figuring out a way to monetize your masochism.
Listen. People
Normally, you have to become a deathmatch wrestler to do that.
People have asked me like, how can you sell your plasma? What's that like? And in reality, I am. So when you go to work, there's an old joke of someone is giving you a dollar or whatever, $20, whatever your $1 an hour rate is.
I wish it was 20.
Yeah, for an hour of your life,
Yeah.
right? Like your physical life force is being spent at a job.
Yeah.
When I donate plasma, this is the most literal version of that. They are literally taking the life force from me in order to monetize for other purposes.
There you go.
This is the most real job I have ever had, and I suspect may ever have existed. But I'm also doing this with a partial benefit to my fellow man, in so much as a lot of these plasma donations go towards people who are sick.
So you're doing good with it.
People who have terrible illnesses, people who are fighting cancer, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Which leads us to our first topic of the day. The WWE, recognizing that you can monetize actually helping people, has decided...
Oh, they've been doing that for years, though. They've been doing that for years.
They have decided to monetize leukemia.
Yeah.
Specifically, Roman Reigns not being on TV. Jesse, if you would.
Yeah, so the WWE has taken to... so you remember when Eddie died and Rey Mysterio very obviously...
Oh, Eddie.
Yeah. This is that, but it's just worse. I want to say, I do believe last week on Raw, Dean Ambrose said, I believe, and I quote, Roman got what he deserved. Yeah, well, that's the kind of heel heat they're going for in 2018.
I mean, this is
this is going to dovetail into another topic that we're going to discuss.
Well, this isn't so much heel heat in 2018. Let's not forget that Paige brought up Reed Flair's death.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And this may even go all the way back to the fact that Diamond Dallas Page was really rapey and stocky about the Undertaker's wife.
Yeah.
Which isn't actually
Which
true,
one?
but
He's had so many.
Well, Sarah. But what's important about that storyline is, do you remember who the guy was who took the brunt of the beating for Diamond Dallas Page? And why was Canyon beat up?
Because he's gay?
Because he was the only outed gay wrestler in the WWE at the time. So, and this of course was 10 years ago.
Feel free to go to fullygimmick.com and you can buy the Wrestling Nerds Radio Network Pride logo.
Pride logo, yes. So, is it fair to establish your heel heat based upon actual outside of the ring, legit, I'm gonna die, maybe cancer?
No. No, it's not. And they're definitely pushing Seth as like this maybe top baby face, and it's just like their whole feud is revolving around the fact that, like Dean is distraught over, his Shield brother. He's got this. It's like everything is wrapped around like this feud happened because Roman has leukemia, and
it does smack. I believe the term we're looking for here more than anything is ghoulish.
Yeah,
this is all but the definition of being ghoulish.
Yeah.
Really, taking enjoyment or monetizing the.
I mean, I would say this is on par, if not a little bit worse than the Eddie's in Hell line that they decided to.
Here's why I think it's actually a little
crap
worse.
Out their mouths.
Here's why I think it's actually a little worse than Eddie. It's a little worse than Reed. It's a little worse than all this.
Yeah.
Roman is still very much alive.
Yeah.
Joe is actually doing pretty well for a guy who's fighting leukemia.
Yeah.
That's not to say that he's, running marathons or, enjoying regular work. He's fighting for his life, and we wish him all the best, obviously. But he's...
Oh, but at Mania on that big Seth and Dean blow-off match, like, Roman's going to come out and he's going to, like, Superman punch Dean or something.
I would love nothing less. Yeah. Especially if that meant that he was cancer-free.
Well, of course, if he was cancer-free, that would be great.
But this is also...
Cancer-free or not.
This is also a company that rolled out Freddie Blassie like 6 days before he dropped dead in order to, take part in the industry one last time. The same company that was mysteriously well-timed with their Ultimate Warrior tells you not to worry about him story. And that...
Yeah. Like him eulogizing himself
literally
12 hours? Yeah, not even 24 hours.
Yeah. We'll never really know how or why that happened. Man's heart just sometimes instantly gives out on him in the relative prime of his life. I mean, he did a lot of drugs, so maybe I don't know.
Maybe it was Vince in the hotel room with a pillow. Who knows?
Drink this. Just drink here. Let me just real quick. Okay. Now go do a speech.
Yeah. Oh, gee, thanks, Vince. I needed this.
You're looking a little small. Take this protein powder. It's good for your heart.
Tastes a little funny.
Yeah, it's almonds.
Oh, yeah. It's almonds. I was going to say, I let it sit out for a little bit, but it's fine.
That's what strychnine tastes like. All right. On to more fun stuff.
This kind of smells like cyanide, Vince.
On to more fun and interesting things.
Is that keto?
Is Raw, in fact, Drennan?
No,
Raw is Drennan because correlate Drennan, internet champion, and our friend. Yeah. Drennan is...
Happy birthday, by the way. It was the other day.
One day late. The absolute worst.
Yeah, but...
So... Raw is Drennan.
Drennan has redeemed... Well, I guess Raw has some redeemable qualities, but... a lot of people are... Speaking of eulogies, people are... I've seen a bunch of, like, rest in peace Raw graphics over the past week.
Why, Jesse?
Apparently...
Why, Jesse, aside from just spitting platitudes here, why is Raw the worst?
It's from... I will say, full disclosure, I haven't been watching.
Okay.
So I can't actively comment on it 110%. But from what I can gather, it is just the worst written, paced, formatted, like literally everything they're doing is just wrong.
Now,
apparently this past Raw,
yeah,
there were multiple segments where it was literally just Baron, Bobby Lashley, and Drew coming out, cutting generic heel, we don't like your town, Thanksgiving, stupid, and then beating up the popular baby faces with to no end. And
well, I mean,
it's just incredibly poorly written.
Not only
bad jokes, bad everything. They've got the Vince has got his hands on another stupid fucking toilet humor joke with Drake Maverick.
Oh yeah, he peed himself.
Yeah, and
did you see EC3 posted a photo of himself peeing himself and said, "Everybody does it. It's okay."
I love EC3, and I love EC3 and Drake Maverick together. They're wonderful.
Oh man, their Halloween costume was fabulous.
I feel like they're almost like an exaggerated version of us.
Oh, you mean like if we exercise?
Yeah, if we exercise, but also like exaggerated too, because like EC3 is like in such like great shape and Drake Maverick's so small. Obviously,
Drake's
like,
in good shape for a guy
I'm not saying
size.
he's in bad shape. I'm not saying he's in bad shape. I'm saying like,
how dare you, Jesse Long? How dare? I think Raw is the worst. I think Raw is Drennan because on one hand, it's always been this way, but on the other hand, we've never like it's like knowing that the president is corrupt. You're pretty sure of it, even when it's a guy like Clinton or W or Obama. You're pretty sure that they got a lot of skeletons in the closet. That's how they got to the presidency. But when it's just like, get in there, get it in there. When it's like that, you can't really ignore it. So, yeah, has Raw always kind of been shit? I mean, I watched the Attitude Era. It was shit then. Here's the problem.
But this is like bad Attitude Era.
Here's the real problem. Here's why you can see it. Again, use the analogy of it's up in your mug.
Yeah.
We know for a fact that Joe is obviously out indefinitely, perhaps done forever.
Yeah.
We now
Braun hurt his elbow.
We now know that Braun is out for months.
I got bone spurs in my elbow. It's weird because I can't get like I'm normally I get these hands, but I can only get this hand.
You good?
I'm good. I like my Braun impersonation.
I don't know why.
I just love the Braun Strowman voice. I like to use it for a lot of things. Like whenever I want to, I like pretend to be a good old boy. I just throw on the Braun Strowman voice.
He's from Carolina, right? So what's the Carolinian accent? It's not the West Virginian accent that you're giving him.
It's fine. He doesn't watch the show.
Well, you don't know that.
Braun, if you watch the show, shoot us an email at teamhamandfist@gmail.com. Leave us a voice on 76.
All right.
I'm gonna have to hunt down 32176 fist.
God, that number will get a lot of phone calls.
Yeah, we go.
Not for any good reason. So
we'll get content.
You've got your absolute top baby faces out indefinitely.
Yeah. So Roman's gone.
Braun
is hurt.
Is hurt and presumably gone for a long time.
Finn is small.
Yeah, Finn, you can't push because you've ruined him.
Well, and then I feel like they're the logical.
Seth is the logical.
Seth and Dean should be the Universal title.
Yeah,
which in like in NXT about like 6 months, a year ago, whatever, it was Ciampa and Gargano were not the NXT title picture,
right.
But it was the feud that everybody cared about. I feel like I would hope that the Seth and Dean feud eventually graduates to the Universal. If the Universal title revolved around Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins,
yes, would be fantastic. Not only would it be fantastic, it would cure what ails them.
Exactly.
Because here's what's really going on. You have Seth and Dean.
If they somehow manage to rejig the product from now until April to have the Universal title be revolving around Seth and Dean, that would be great.
You can't do that though because you've already made it.
Dean somehow won the Universal title between now and then.
You've already made it abundantly clear that you need Brock to carry the Universal title into the UFC to face Cormier for.
When is that fight? When would that fight even be?
I think it's March. I think it's March or June.
So Mania's shot.
Of course Mania's shot.
Maybe they'll do it at Greatest Royal Rumble 2.
Yeah, well, they might, but you've decided that you're... Hang on. Jesse, that's Billy Bob Thornton from Sling Blade, not a Carolinian accent. And Charles is from South Carolina.
Yeah, I was born in South Carolina, too. I should know it. I should know the accent better.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought you were born in North Carolina.
No, South Carolina.
Whereabouts?
Myrtle Beach.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's... Okay, so Georgia.
Yeah,
You were born in Georgia.
basically.
Whether or not you say you were
My
born
whole
in...
family's from North Carolina, but like my parents
But you
were
were born in South
My parents
Carolina.
were living in South Carolina.
This is an interesting etymology. I wish to hear more about this.
Yeah, no, they were living in South Carolina when I was born. And but then Hurricane Hugo blew through and then we moved back to North Carolina. And then we were only there for like 4 years and we moved to Florida. That's about it.
You're a wonderful tapestry, Jesse Long. Yeah. Oh wait, what was that? I missed Charles saying something. Oh, damn it.
I was not in the Carolinas long enough for it to have any sort of lasting effect.
You do have this like really fantastic like Floridian accent.
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
Because I have the same one where we have
It's
this,
that non-accent.
Yeah, it's this weird kind of like non-existent draw, but we also say things like y'all and whereabouts and what have you.
Yeah, no, sometimes the Southern comes out.
Well, it's sort of like when you're Floridian, your Southern accent comes out if you're like Puerto Rican, and when you say something in Spanish, and it comes out perfectly in Spanish.
Yeah.
So we don't actually speak Southern, but when we speak with someone who is Southern,
Yeah, we speak Floridian.
we speak. Yeah, the drawl returns to us.
Oh yeah, it's like that weird mix between Southern and there's probably some some stuff from your people trickles into.
It's a very back. Well, there's lots of ches. Yeah. But it's a very it's a lot of backwash.
Yeah.
It's a backwash of an accent. We don't have anything.
We're backwash Americans.
Like when you speak.
Backwash Americans.
Put that on a shirt.
Well.
When your wife speaks with you or she speaks with her family, do they ever like flow in and out of like?
Oh yeah, no, it's constant in and out of Spanish.
Right, and it sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
And then you got two guys like us sitting on a bump, literally going, "Hey man, do you think we're gonna catch the game today, or do y'all want to go somewhere else?" And then somebody looks at you and goes, "Oh, I don't know, man. I think we might head on in." Like, what does that even mean? But you and I know exactly what the hell's going on. And then we go right back to, New York City picante taste.
Charles said something.
Florida, America's backwash.
100%.
My arm hurts. Let's move on to some positive WWE discussion topics. War Games happened again.
War Games
and
happened.
so did Starrcade.
Oh yeah, Starrcade. I didn't watch this.
Nobody watched Starrcade.
I feel like maybe next year they'll do something. I don't know.
I like the idea of the WWE recognizing the territory opportunity.
Yeah.
I like the idea of them going to the smaller pay-per-view events that are like the in-state events, like Starrcade and War Games and things like that. But you can sort of...
War Games wasn't small. More people watched War Games than they watched Survivor Series.
Let me finish.
Okay.
But you can certainly see, Papa is very much not for this. And you've got Triple H going, "Hey Papa, we're gonna have an event. We're gonna do what you want. Nobody's watching that shit anyway." And okay, man.
He's like, "You mean our main product?"
Yeah. Hey, whatever happened to the WWE Championship? I liked that.
Hey Hunter, you got any more flippy kicky dudes to call up? No, we're all tapped out.
we're all out of flippy kicky dudes. Never mind the fact that Ricochet has been wearing the the North American title. The North American
like
title
hold
for
your
like
phone
8
and
months.
like I could just imagine like Vince is like, I see this Rico. No! No! Get on! NXT closed!
You see they're having a board meeting and Hunter's just sitting there like trying to figure out how to get out of this one without losing any more of his product. And then you see Vince like, who could we, what's this guy? What's this?
Triple H is in his office.
And then you just see Triple H, no!
I see this, Lars. Okay, he's fine.
Yeah.
No, like Triple H is watching the live feed of the PC in his office that we know he has, and like Hunter comes in, he's like, "What are you looking at?" Oh, nothing.
Closes the laptop, throws it across the room,
chucks it out the window,
just breaks it in half. There's nothing there, Papa. Let's have another Kurt Angle match. Don't you want your title belt defended on the UFC, Daddy?
Daddy. Jesus.
I think the problem with Raw and why SmackDown is so much better is when you turn on SmackDown, you know who the champion is.
Well, yeah.
Not only do you know who the champion is, sometimes he makes appearances on television.
Yeah.
And then if you're extraordinarily lucky, he wrestles.
You want to know what's even funnier? Not since, well, I don't remember when Jinder Mahal won the WWE title.
Yeah.
But Jinder Mahal winning the WWE title was the last time the WWE Championship was won on a pay-per-view. Because AJ won it on SmackDown a year ago.
Yeah.
And then Daniel Bryan won it on SmackDown like a few weeks ago.
What's really telling is how much people love SmackDown, and SmackDown is what NXT was. It's a show where the promos are limited, the skits are not as. I mean,
it's definitely somewhere in between. It's not as good as NXT.
But what it is, hey, you're a pro wrestling fan. You're a professional wrestling nerd.
Yeah.
Do you want to watch high quality wrestling? Would you like the matches to go on for 5 to 10 minutes? Maybe even longer, depending?
Yeah, depending. Every once in a while, we'll give you something great.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's all. The reason why NXT, gets the ow from nerds like us is because here are two of the best wrestlers on the planet, whatever their division, be them tag team,
anything.
205, what is it? The light heavyweight, UK light heavyweight, anything. Here are two of the best workers in the world.
Yeah.
And they're going to go wrestle for you for 5 to 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a no finish. Sometimes there's a finish that advances a storyline. And sometimes there's just, a squash. Yeah. It happens sometimes. Yeah. But it's wrestling.
Sometimes Matt Riddle just comes out and kicks his flip-flops off really well.
That's so cool. They both landed opposite ends. I'm so glad I got to meet that guy. But they had an MLW. And MLW. He's super besties with our with members of our team.
Oh, yes.
But anyway, you get to see that. You get to see Keith Lee come out, and bask in his glory. And by the way, the interesting irony of Keith Lee facing off against Lars Sullivan, not lost on me if you're following on the dirt sheets.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's funny, right? So, Lars might be a little racist. There, I said it.
Like a big racist
gorilla,
Will Sasso looking motherfucker.
Oh man, like a big what?
He looks. You
know what he is? He's white Gorilla Grodd.
Yes,
he's hairless.
Albino Gorilla Grodd.
No, he's hairless. I bet you he really is Gorilla Grodd, and he just shaved himself.
Damn it, Barry! What did you do? You fucked up the timeline again.
He shaved Gorilla Grodd. This brings an interesting point, though. We mentioned NXT UK. We mentioned Rick O'Shea.
War Games,
my cousin.
War Games was fantastic.
Yeah, it was. It was really good. We mentioned with War Games comes, the
it's Roddy's boys.
Yeah, I can't make fun of them anymore. Undisputed Era.
No, it's a U and then an E.
Oh, you got it. Oh, I thought it was the thumb comes out. That makes more sense though. Look, it looks like an E.
Kind of like a doggy.
Dog. Oh, dog. They should do like the Pac-Man kind of thing where he comes through. We mentioned all of these names. We mentioned Seth. We mentioned Dean. We mentioned AJ. We mentioned Bryan Danielson. We mentioned the man, Becky.
Yes,
Who is the face that runs the place?
I pose it. I've been sitting on this question since basically Roman got leukemia.
Since he had to vacate.
Yeah, since he had to vacate, and you got to think. Thank you. The second half of the show brought to you by Watermelon Water. Watermelon Water. It tastes like watermelon.
Watermelon Water. Jesse bought this.
Yeah, it's good. Here.
Am I supposed to shake it?
Yeah, you're going to want to shake.
Shake.
Shake it off.
So,
I love this shit.
Who is the face that runs the place?
There are a lot of...
Whoa!
It's all water.
That is a lot of brotassium. Oh, and 12 grams of sugar. Okay, just making sure.
Is there? Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a lot of fucking watermelon.
A Well, that will wake you up.
This derailment brought to you by watermelon water. Watermelon.
It's literally making my eyes water. Okay, so who is the face that runs the place?
There are. I really feel like right now,
Yes.
the best option
Yes.
is Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch is
Becky
really
fucking
good.
Lynch.
Is really
I
good.
I would never have thought that like a year ago, 6 months ago.
I always liked Becky, as most people have. She's an
Well, it's funny 'cause
excellent.
she was always sort of the remainder of the four horsewomen. Like it was
Right.
always like, oh yeah, Sasha, Charlotte, Bayley, oh Becky, and
So,
then
if
secretly she became the
If you are uneducated or uninitiated or simply don't care, Becky Lynch has been having this kind of meteoric heel rise
God, she's
where
great.
she has come out and basically done these incredible work shoot promos where she shows up and she says, "It doesn't matter who you are, I'm the man.
Yeah.
I'm the one people are here to see."
and it played wonderfully off of she beat Charlotte. The whole Flair thing, to be the man, you got to beat the man. She beat Charlotte. She's the man now, and
I love that it's not the woman either. Like,
no,
the man.
She's the man, and I can't get over how wonderful Becky has been recently. Mm-hmm. That
Now,
and unfortunately,
to that end, she is outshining the person who they handpicked in Ronda Rousey, who was
Oh my God, yeah.
up until this feud with Becky, which never even had a payoff because Becky got injured.
Yeah.
Up until this feud, Ronda Rousey was set to be the face that runs the place.
she was supposed to be like, they were gonna okay, we are gonna position a woman, but it's gonna be Ronda Rousey, and
hang on, I'm gonna show you something real quick.
all right,
But keep going. It was gonna be Ronda Rousey.
it was but then Becky had that sort of for lack of a better term, that Stone Cold moment.
Yes.
On when with the invasion and Nia potatoing her in the face, she's bloodied and she's just. God damn it, there's just...
So, when you turn on Hulu,
Yeah.
and if you have things like WWE NXT and SmackDown and Raw, you get like... images.
NXT is...
So NXT, they have the champion on there, Tommaso Ciampa. I noticed this...
Champion,
whatever. I noticed this
and
the
that
other
wonderful
day.
black heart shirt that he won't sell.
I want you to see what the image is for SmackDown. What do you see? Explain what you see.
What they have on the screen is Randy Orton giving a RKO to Jinder Mahal.
Right, but take a closer look. What are you actually seeing? Just look at Randy and look at Jinder. Where's Randy's arms?
Like grabbing his hair.
So where's Jinder's head?
Not in the RKO position at all.
So what you're actually seeing here is the now historic botched RKO from the episode of SmackDown where Jinder completely shit the bed and was never seen or heard from again. That's the image that Hulu is posting as their SmackDown image. It's stilled. It is perfectly stilled to the point where you can see, this is the image. This is okay. So this is the image, and it's shot from an angle where Jesse, go all the way behind my back. That's what you see. Jinder completely misses the move. All you see is Randy's huge, really huge bicep, and he's up in midair, and Jinder's
tattoos.
holding onto his back. So you actually see this is more of what you see. If you know anything about the RKO, the Diamond Cutter, the Ace Crusher, whatever you want, it's actually I found out it's actually not a jiu-jitsu move, but there's a jiu-jitsu move that you go like this, right?
Yeah.
And then you basically wrap your arm like that. It's a prayer choke.
Yeah,
It sucks. And when I was learning
Didn't feel good.
Yeah, when I was learning it, I made sure to make a joke to my coach, Mike, and I said, "Oh, so I want to do a Diamond Cutter." And he goes, "Yeah, like a Diamond Cutter." That's the move. You have to have the guy's head in you. And this, so let's look at Raw. All right, what do you see on Raw? What do you see on Raw?
Ronda
Rousey, big smiles, wearing her Piper kilt and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So she's the face of Raw. That's what they're saying. When you go back to NXT,
it's Ciampa.
It's Ciampa doing the big arms out, looking like a badass.
Yes.
So you've got badass Ciampa heel.
Yeah.
You've got super awesome Ronda Rousey, the face that runs the place.
Yeah.
And then SmackDown, you have the biggest botch in the history of free television in the last 5 months. 10 months?
A year. This gender hasn't been on SmackDown in a long time.
So I needed to point that out to you.
Thank you.
I want you to like if you can capture that image, throw it up on the. Well, you don't have to right now.
Okay, yeah. It'll take us 20 minutes to reset the camera.
I'm well aware. But I just speaking of the the face that runs the place and all these other things. This is what Hulu is promoting.
Yeah.
They're promoting Ronda Rousey. They're promoting Tommaso Ciampa. They're promoting a really fucked up version of the RKO. Okay.
Yeah. No, but I feel like Becky has all the tools to be the next, star of the company. She has all the charisma.
She has one problem.
What? What's a problem?
They didn't want her.
Yeah. No, I'm not done.
Oh,
I'm not done.
Okay, never mind.
I normally chug my drinks, but
now,
yeah, I would say that's going to be the only thing. They are going to definitely try, like what happened with Daniel Bryan. They tried to sort of supplant it onto the Big Show at one point.
Yeah, Big Show had the yes chant going.
Yeah, they're going to try
never forget that image.
Jesus, they're going to try to supplant it back over to Charlotte, which is not going to work.
No, let.
But if they play
happen.
if they actually follow through in the way that they should, the rumor is that Becky and Ronda might actually main event WrestleMania at this point.
No, it will be Charlotte and Ronda. It will be.
I hope not.
There is no doubt in my mind. Yeah. You don't get over until we tell you to get over.
Yeah.
Ask anyone.
Ask Zack Ryder.
Ask Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
Who was the last guy to get over before we told you to get over was Steve Austin. Ironic.
Yeah.
Braun Strowman got over before it was his time, and he got jobbed out on 3 separate occasions to the Beast incarnate.
And logic would say that it's gonna happen again.
It has to.
It's gonna happen again at the Royal Rumble.
It has to. They want Brock Lesnar to go into the UFC with that belt.
This crunching sound you hear in the microphone is my happiness level.
It doesn't have to be though, because once you understand that the Universal title is literally just a prop to promote the WWE. Then
I wouldn't mind that, and I wouldn't mind that so much if both the Universal title and the WWE title were like the champion. Like if the WWE Championship was like on both shows, and the Universal title was just this sort of like stupid nebulous thing that they prop up on, whoever they put it on. They'll put it on Brock. They'll put it on Daniel Cormier. They'll put it on fucking anybody.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it as much if it was like this. Even further up thing that just doesn't matter.
They have
kind of like
made
the presidency.
Well, they have made the Universal title matter more than the WWE title.
Charles says something.
Well, that's a real job to DC.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, those fights aren't fixed, so DC wins.
Yeah.
Like, how
Does
many?
DC become the Universal Champion in the UFC? Is the question.
If that title is on the line in the UFC, then I think I will just stop watching wrestling forever. And then we will serve no purpose on the Wrestling Nerds Radio Network.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Zach. We'll be gone.
It'll just be us. It'll just be us staring at the camera for 30 minutes, just unhappy, and then we'll switch.
Playing with my Simon Grimm figure.
Yeah. Oh. As an aside, so I got your little Facebook memories thing. I got it wasn't 3 years ago today, but it was 3 years ago today that they released the photos to the people that went to the Performance Center.
Yeah.
And so I've got this photo with like me and Ben Penrod and that British dude who used to go to NXT, and then Heather Aboud, who we both
Heather's
knew.
a friend.
Yeah. And then it's got all the other NXT talent, or NXT at the time. And so you got Blake, Murphy, Chad Gable, The Revival, Aiden, and Simon. And the only person not employed in that picture is Simon. And I'm just like,
Well, here's the thing. I was,
but it's not.
I was fortunate enough to run into Simon at the Jungle this week.
Okay,
he happened to be in town on basically doing another loop.
Yep.
Because he's working a lot.
Which is good.
Yes, but
despite what the internet would say about him, it's good that he's
just because you're not over on the internet doesn't mean you're not amazing.
No, of course.
Now
I'm talking about the fact that the internet claims he's like the worst person in the world.
He's not Drennan. Stop stealing his gimmick.
Ooh, that's a match I'd love to see.
Oh, yeah. Anyway,
Gotcha, Drennan.
so what I we were talking about stuff. We were just catching up, and I have a theory. Unfortunately for Gotch himself, he will never be like Gotch and I are very similar. We live almost.
You're very parallel.
Yeah, very parallel lives. I've made this joke hundreds of times, and you've known me long enough, and my wife has known me long enough, and people who have known me long enough know that this is an actual truth. Nobody believes it, but this is actual fact. I am always the first to start some kind, or at the very beginning of a massive trend.
Yeah.
There, for whatever reason, maybe I just am. I was just born at the right time, and people got into nerd stuff or whatever it is, wrestling, whatever it is. I'm always at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
No one ever gives me credit for it. I never really want to look out for it. Think about the Mohawk thing.
Yeah.
I start wearing a Mohawk and a beard. Suddenly, that's the MO for everybody.
Yeah. You arrive at the point before everybody else does.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, it got to the point in my life where I just gave up on trying to bother explaining this to people. But when you look at Simon Gotch, here's a guy who showed up to NXT, did his job incredibly well, was way ahead of the time with his gimmick. Mm-hmm. At the time, the old-timey strongman gimmick was spot on with the curly mustache. Everybody, this was brilliant. It was so ahead of its time. It plays itself up in NXT to the point that we didn't even care that Aiden was attached. Nobody was there to see. That's the God's honest truth about the vaudevillains that nobody wants to admit. Was Aiden English needed?
No, it was 100% Gotch, and Aiden was very much just sort of like the tag along.
He really was.
Yeah.
So then they get called up. And Simon loses his mind because he's being underutilized and underappreciated. And he's not just there to make money. I mean, most people are, but ultimately, he wants to be an artist. Yeah. He wants to do what he loves to do, and he doesn't want to be told how to do it. He wants to do what he wants to do. So he decides whether it's his own, however you want to frame it.
It was a mutual thing, from what I could tell.
Everyone agrees that this just wasn't working, and either he was fired or he quit or a combination thereof. Yeah, that's not what's important. Yeah. What's important is that he left.
Yeah.
Shortly after he leaves, very shortly after he leaves, we know that Austin Aries dips.
No.
Which may or may not be a good thing. Who knows? Yeah. But this leads to Pac taking off.
Yep.
Which, Neville. And now people are saying that Finn's probably not renewing his contract, and Shinsuke's probably not renewing his contract. Yeah. And
well, for those two, I feel like the WWE would throw enough money at them to keep them around.
Just hear me. Well, maybe they will, maybe they won't. Yeah. I mean, just because you get money thrown at you doesn't necessarily mean anything. Cody didn't come back.
True.
Everyone was like, Cody's coming back. Matt and Jeff made names for themselves in TNA before everything. Solomon Crow, who we know is Sami Callihan, basically told the WWE, I'm out of here. Yeah. Ahead of all of this, and has reinvented himself. Well, not really reinvented him, just shown what he's capable of.
He did it the way he wanted to.
So Simon Gotch kind of led this exodus to go to greener pastures. But much like myself, he's getting none of the credit for it. On top of that, what was he wrong about when it comes to what he said was going on behind the scenes?
Nothing.
He was the first person to be like, it wasn't me, it was that moron Enzo Amore who ruined everything.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, Enzo Amore. Fuck.
When you look back at Gotch's history in the WWE, and yes, it was difficult, and yes, I'm sure he was very frustrated and very upset a lot of the time. I would be too, given the situation.
Same.
I've been in that situation where you're not being respected for the amount of energy you're putting into something and being told to do what you want to do.
Yeah. Or being, saying, hey, I have an idea of something that could, really give me value.
And really invigorate this company. Like, say, I don't know, a 3 to 5 minute weekly podcast about comic books that would have been over like fucking Rover. But anyway.
Neither of us are bitter about that.
Oh, I am. Yeah. Did I not? Was I not obvious about that?
You were a little too subtle.
Oh, my mistake. But my point being is that...
fuck you, Coliseum of Comics.
I wouldn't go that far. Just I really wish...
Whatever, they rebranded up the street. You're fine.
I just wish they'd listen to really good ideas.
Yeah.
And
like, you being the store manager after you've been at the company for a goddamn decade, and they're opening a store within walking distance of your house. But you know,
it wasn't meant to be.
But you know, you're not skinny with boobs.
I found myself in a pretty good situation.
Yes, you did. Same here. You know, we can be bitter about our previous jobs all we want. We're in pretty good situations now.
Let's see. Podcast about comics. Why am I bitter? Well, listen, Charles, you could have had your crazy left-wing commie pinko podcast right now during the Trump administration, and you would have been a goddamn millionaire had you launched it. You could have had Alexia O'Cara Consuela Estordana. What is her name? I'll never get her name right.
I can't even wrap my head around.
You could have had her on as your first guest. You missed out too. We're all idiots. I don't know. I don't know what my point was anymore. I'm sorry. Let's talk about the WWE UK contracts.
Yeah. So we'll briefly touch on the WWE recently. It was revealed that they're cracking down on the UK contracts. And they basically
have gone off the deep end for a minute there, Jesse. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, you know, their juice, but you already finished your juice box.
That's the problem. You put too much sugar in me. I don't drink sugar anymore, Jesse Long, and now I'm all on a sugar high.
The UK contracts are in tears now, as of like this past taping recently. Mm-hmm. You've got like the main ones who are locked down, like a proper WWE contract. Like your main event players, you know, like Pete Dunne, the Mustache Mountain, Tony Storm, you know, Jordan Devlin. And then you've got your middle tier where they like nothing really changed, and then you've got your lower tier where they can just sort of like they're kind of like
come and go as they
they're kind of jobbers. They come in and out. But with the I don't know if it's the middle and the top tier, but definitely the top tier. As they were before, they were kind of free to wrestle in other promotions, and you know they could kind of wrestle as they wanted. You know, Pete Dunne sort of not famously, but after he won the UK title, definitely for like a year or so, he kind of carried the UK title around the UK independent scene with him, just you know around. He would defend it, you know, sporadically.
Basically, they were building the brand inside, you know.
Yeah, but now they're cracking down, and basically, you're not the UK guys aren't allowed to wrestle outside of NXT UK or Progress or ICW, which is like their two like little partner promotions.
Correct.
And to that end, also in Progress and ICW, you're not allowed to wrestle anybody from a competitor promotion.
I have to pause.
Okay.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Aleister Black and Zelina Vega are married.
Yeah, I heard about that yesterday. Congrats. Good for you. Good on Zelina Vega. She used to be dating Austin Aries. This is an upgrade.
Good on Aleister Black.
Good on Aleister Black too.
I mean, that's it, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, I got bad news.
Don't fuck it up, buddy.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
It's only here now.
Yeah. You hit the top of Everest. Like you're not it's a very short Everest, but
still.
Yeah.
That's an Everest.
Yeah.
You're looking at, you know.
You win the lottery,
in
buddy.
Comic books.
You hit that Powerball.
In comic books, you never get a CGC graded 10. But you do get a 9.8. There's never really above like you can assume that there's like a 9.9 and a 10, but you never see them.
Yeah. To get a 10, you'd have to build a time machine, go back and grab the first issue of like a Superman comic as it's coming off the press and then immediately put it in a sleeve and a safe.
You would have to like fold it in on itself.
Yeah.
Like human hands could have never touched it.
Yeah.
So there's never going to be like a CGC 10.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of really good 9.8s.
There's a lot of 9.8s.
And
you got a 9.8.
Yeah.
Good on you, Aleister Black. Golf clap for Aleister Black.
Moving back.
Okay.
UK contracts.
UK contracts. And, you know, whatever the structure of the contract, whatever, who cares? The thing that I'm finding hilarious is people are like, this is killing the business. You're locking down people to contracts in the UK. What are you doing? The UK scene is dead. It's dead. And then Pete Dunne comes out and like, no, UK scene's fine. Like, of course you'd say that. You're the UK champ. And like, what do you think the WWE is doing?
Yeah.
Have you just discovered professional wrestling with the WWE?
There's a reason. What is the WWE? What is literally every other promotion on the planet that's not the WWE known as?
The independent. independence. And now the structure of WWE's contracts notwithstanding, the independent contractor versus employer thing, we can do a whole show about that.
Of course.
And of course, they really should be employees, not independent contractors.
Oh, we gotta go to the big.
We're gonna have to wrap that up soon. But my point is, how are you surprised of this? And I'm on WWE side with this. The first UK taping after their championship tournament this year, Travis Banks was out. He won the tournament, and he was out because he got hurt the weekend before at an indie show.
Locking up someone to a long-term contract is what we refer
and the people who were on the top tier, they got raises too.
It is effectively what we refer to as actual business.
Yeah.
Now, Jesse, we are running out of show. We did have to start a little bit late, and I know you need to get going, and I need to go lay down after donating half of my heart.
Yeah, but you just had coffee and watermelon, so you're going to go right to that bathroom.
It's also a possibility. Yeah. Jesse Long, take us to the end of the show, brother. What is the big lesson? What are we calling the end of? Are we gonna call it the big finish? We're gonna call it the POWA OWA crushing move. We're gonna call it the spinning,
the finisher,
the spinning pile driver. What are we doing?
The finisher.
But
well, once those two jerks is done, we're gonna steal all that stuff.
Oh, fair enough.
But we've always been done recently. We've been doing the lesson, and we didn't talk about it on this show. Because, well, for one thing, it's been beaten to death, and if you want to have, listen to a really good conversation about this whole, the thing that's been going on the internet in the wrestling scene right now is this whole paying your dues versus knowing your worth thing that's been going around, the IndieCast talked about it in depth, and they had a really good talk about it. Listen to that one. It's right.
So this week's lesson is don't listen to our show.
This week's lesson is listen to the IndieCast talk about no. But I was
Let me, if I may.
Yes.
I believe the lesson for the big return of the POWA Hour, the true return of the POWA Hour it's important to remember your roots. We went all the way back to what we originally started as, a show that's mostly focused on wrestling but talks about whatever the hell we feel like. That's cool.
Yeah.
The WWE...
And grading Zelina Vega like a comic book.
It's just women in general.
Okay, thanks.
Incel!
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get more hits now.
Yeah. Monetize.
You morons give us your money now.
Yeah. I don't know if we have a pay link on the...
So it's not a terrible...
PayPal.me/THFist.
So it's not a terrible thing to go back to what you know. Go back to the well. Yeah. What we're seeing in the WWE in terms of NXT, SmackDown, 205 Live, the women's division, we're seeing at UK, we're seeing a return of going back to the well. Yeah. The well being, let's just put good matches on TV.
Yep.
There's nothing terribly wrong with that. The negative of Raw is... they are not bothering to even remotely believe that that's an option.
Yeah.
They're shoving new product down our throat that nobody's interested in. They're giving us...
They're trying to give us sports entertainment.
Right. And that's not working. The best heel in pro wrestling today is Tommaso Ciampa because he refers to himself as the greatest sports entertainer ever. Think about that.
Yeah.
Jesse, how can people get a hold of us?
You can find us on Twitter at Team Hammerfist, TeamHammafist. It's somewhere. It's always in the popcorn ceiling up here. That's why I'm always looking.
That's fine.
You can, I think we're on Instagram. Who cares? You're not going on Instagram to look at us.
Zelina Vega, Instagram.
Effie, Instagram.
Oh, that's a good Instagram. That's a good Instagram.
That's a good Instagram. Jamie Senegal. You're gonna go to the bathroom for another reason now.
Mold.
Yeah. If Facebook.com/THFist. You find the Pro Wrestling Nerds or Professional Wrestling Nerds Facebook group. You can join it. Bother Tom at 321-76 until he pulls the plug on that. I hope he does. I hope he leaves that voicemail.
Why don't you just buy it off him?
I might.
I'll
buy it off of him for nothing. The nothing that it's worth.
It's fair. Until next time, I am the Sussman, Rick Sussman, and of course, this has been the American Dadass, Jesse Long. We are Team Hammerfist, and we remind you that it doesn't matter the time, and and we remind you that we are the best in the business because we were the first to do this. See you next time.
Fatness. Climb up the thing.
Wait, I missed it. There we go.
There we go.